I've known RJ since 2010,
Hmm.
when he first started dating my sister. My family welcomed him with open arms, and at that time in my life, I was still, I was drinking alcohol. I was in college. I was doing all what, unfortunately, what college students do, partying and
Yeah.
not really paying attention to taking care of my body. But my story, uh, my story's long, but I won't get too long with it here. But it starts with the game of football for me.
Hmm.
My story at the age of 8, wanting to be a running back for the Denver Broncos. So I was then placed on the track of playing in the NFL.
Mm.
Um, and again, I was fortunate enough to play in the NFL, but throughout this entire process of getting there, I was significantly struggling with severe depression, alcoholism, and very high anxiety. That
Mm.
high anxiety, low lows with depression.
Right.
And it really came about when I was in college. Once I went to the University of Wisconsin Madison, started to see everybody else drinking and partying. Because at first, when I was doing it in high school, I wasn't doing it a lot, but I had my parents, of course, and they were telling me, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing that. It's something you shouldn't be doing. Let's focus on your school, focus on your goals, where you want to get in life." But I was a teenager, felt as if I had all the answers. But once I got to college and I started to see everybody else doing it, I then just thought that my parents were just being like every other parent out there, telling your kid to just focus on school and all that stuff. So once I made it to college, it was like I felt free and I started drinking more, partying more, and that just opened up the door, made me way more susceptible to lower lows,
Hmm.
those depressive moments coming off of those high moments. And obviously, not having a lot of experience or knowledge regarding mental health, not never really addressing it, just hiding it, allowed for it to grow,
Hmm.
manifest into something to where I really started self medicating with alcohol.
Yep. Yep.
At that moment, I built a very strong relationship with alcohol. At first, it was just something I did in social events. Then it became something I was doing behind closed doors by myself.
Do you remember the time or the moment, and you might not, where you kind of started using alcohol like it was medicine, like it was there to help you with whatever you needed to
Absolutely,
cover?
yeah. In 2011, which would be my junior year in college, is when that relationship shifted
Yeah.
from something I use in social events to something then I use to help me during my tough days. And
Yeah.
then it became something I used even when I wasn't having tough days. I may have just felt like I was having a tough day, but again, that was the alcohol side of me talking to me, wanting that fix. And so I developed a very strong relationship with it and suffered from extreme depression. And once I was drafted by the Denver Broncos, the pressures, the societal pressures of playing on a big
Yeah.
stage, of the demands of the game of football, and not addressing my mental health it really opened up the door for me to self destruct.
Yeah.
I led to a self destructive path, and then everybody around me received a different Montee,
Hmm.
a very upset and angry Montee. Went from the happy go lucky drunk to the angry drunk, because
Hmm.
at that moment I then knew that my playing days were coming to an end because of what I was doing off the field, and I
Right.
couldn't really sit with that.
Wow.
And that had then accelerated um, to me just not being a great partner at all, not being a great son, not being a great friend. And I just had to make a decision, man. I really had to. So for me, my turning point from excessive use of alcohol were many reasons. The birth of my child,
Hmm.
but then also one thing that RJ always states, and we say it on our podcast, is also understanding that it is a selfless act that you must make, but it's also a selfish act.
Right.